Welcome to another go-round of Soccer's in Session here on the SDH Network. John Nelson here with you. And as we do it today, traditionally, Soccer's in Session presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente is on Wednesdays. But because of things, it's going to be today. We're going to be joined in a bit by Aaron Paul from Morgan County and Kai Uchimura from Druid Hills. We'll go over the schedule for today, and we will also go over the rankings courtesy of our friends at Scoreboard. And we will break it all down for you and let you know what the word is here as we let you know that it is going to be fast and furious as we go, and making sure that everything is prepared for the stretch run here in high school soccer here in the state of Georgia. By the way, big day for us today here on the network. 5:30 and 8 o'clock at soccerdownhere.mixler.com. It is West Forsyth and River Ridge, 5:30 and 8, because it is senior day at River Ridge. Drew Dickinson will be on the call for you, and it will be the number 2 girls team in the country in West Forsyth taking on River Ridge, and the number 4 boys team in the country at River Ridge taking on West Forsyth. Senior day at River Ridge. So that's why it's a 2.5-hour stagger between the first match at 5:30 on the girls' side and the boys' match at 8 o'clock. So it's going to go like this. Go to soccerdownhere.mixler.com, and then what you can do is make sure that you're there, because it's going to be a while, but it's going to be 2 separate broadcasts. So at 5:25 or so, Drew's going to come on, soccerdownhere.mixler.com, and he is going to lead you through it all. Then it'll be that broadcast, then a separate broadcast coming on a little before 8 o'clock. You can also go to the Mixler app, MIXLR. Then you can follow Soccer Down Here and SDH2, because there are those days, and I believe we've got one coming up in 10 days' time where we're going to have to be at 2 places at once because it's the end of the regular season. So soccerdownhere.mixler.com and the Mixler app, be sure to follow Soccer Down Here and SDH2, because then when we have a live broadcast, you actually do get a notification. You get like an email notification. Hey, there's a live event going on at Soccer Down Here, and then you can log in and you're good to go. So that's how things are going to break down there today. So soccerdownhere.mixler.com, 5:30 and 8. It is West Forsyth and River Ridge on the network. Mixler app, follow Soccer Down Here and SDH2, or you can go to soccerdownhere.net and then go to the Listen tab. And traditionally, when we have something that is live on our platforms and on the app, there's a siren that goes off. I don't quite have it where I can do it technologically here, but take my word for it. You're going to have soccerdownhere.net. Go to the Listen tab. You're going to see a siren for whichever network is up and running with a match. And then you can click on that, hit listen, and it takes you to Mixler, and it takes you to our Mixler site. And then that way you can listen to everything there here on the SDH network. So that is where we are. And so very, very busy day today with big matchups involving teams nationally ranked here on the network, 5:30 and 8 o'clock. And once again, separate broadcasts. So it will be a breakdown. It'll be a separate broadcast. So you might have to hit refresh a couple times, and it'll be right there for you. 5:25, 7:55, somewhere in there. So you'll have the 7 seniors on the girls' side and the 14 seniors on the boys' side for River Ridge being celebrated after the girls' match before the boys' match. And so 21 seniors being celebrated up at River Ridge today. West Forsyth coming to town. Drew Dickinson will have the call for you at 5:30 and at 8 o'clock. And so coming up here in just a little bit, we get to catch up with a couple of friends of us here on the network, Aaron Paul, and they should have just wrapped up practice. And so we're going to find out what's going on with Aaron Paul up at Morgan County and find out what's going on the boys' side, ranked squads there. And then Kai Uchimura set to join us in about 15 minutes. And Kai will break down everything that you see involving Druid Hills on the girls' side and what he is having to navigate in a very, very tough region in DeKalb County. And he's going to get ready for everything in DeKalb County going forward when it comes to girls soccer. So while we're waiting for them and waiting for our guests to come in, what we'll do is we'll go through the rankings just to kind of give you an idea as to where things are. The all-class top 10, once again, this is courtesy of our friends at Scoreboard, SCORBORD. River Ridge, ranked number 1, regardless of classification, out of the blocks at 12-0, 6-0 in region play. They're followed by Dalton, Grayson, McIntosh, Marist, Archer, Northwest Whitfield, Norcross, Johns Creek, and Hebron Christian. We've had the chance to see Dalton so far this year. We've had the chance to see McIntosh. We've seen Marist. And we have seen Johns Creek a couple times, and we've seen Hebron Christian. We got to catch up with Hebron Christian with their matchup against Toombs County earlier last week. And so it was a chance to catch up with them as well when it comes to the boys' side. That's in all classifications. So we'll break down how it looks. 6A class, Grayson, Archer, Norcross, Lambert, Carrollton at 12-1. Harrison, North Atlanta, whom we've had on the network a couple of times already this year, Marietta, Collins Hill, and Pebblebrook. This is boys' side as we break things down. 5A on the boys' side, River Ridge, once again, 12-0. River Ridge and McIntosh, 12-0, 15-1. And if memory serves, I believe they're both on the right-hand side of the bracket this year, so you could see that as a semifinal leading into a final. We'll go back and we'll check the brackets in a bit, but River Ridge, McIntosh, Johns Creek, 1, 2, and 3. Sprayberry at number 4. Woodward Academy at 5. Lassiter is at 6. Clark Central is at 7. Milton is at 8. Alexander is at 9. And Rome at 11-2 comes in at number 10. And Quad A, Dalton is at number 1. Marist, Westminster, Pius, Blessed Trinity. Clarkston is at number 6 on the boys' side. East side, 13-0, ranked at number 7. Pace Academy, Druid Hills boys are at number 9, and the Perry Panthers right now are at number 10 with a record of 12-2. Now, remember, starting in AAA, it splits. AAA to single A, the private schools, they drift off to the side, and they have their own championship. Private boys soccer poll, Hebron Christian, GAC. Atlanta International School, AIS. Providence Christian, Savannah Country Day, Trinity Christian, Whitfield Academy, Wesleyan, Landmark, and Mount Vernon. So that's the rundown on the private side, single A to triple A. Public side, Northwest Whitfield, Oconee County, Whitewater, Johnson Gainesville is at number 4 at 9-3. ARC, the Academy of Richmond County is at number 5 at 14-1. Chestatee Islands, West Lawrence, Mary Persons, and Gilmer is in at number 10 with a record of 10-3 in AAA. Boys, Morgan County is at 11-2. Then, like I said, we'll catch up with Coach Paul here in a sec when practice is wrapped up and everything is good to go out there in Morgan County. Columbus, Appling County, Callaway, Tattnall County, Coahulla Creek, the boys at 7-3, 6-1. Drew Charter, Hart County, Pierce, and Crisp. That's your rundown in AA boys. In Class A Division I boys, Model, it is 11-3. Toombs County right now at 10-5 after the trips to Putnam County and to Hebron Christian in back-to-back days. Jeff Davis is at number 3. Bremen at number 4. Armurchie is at 5. Thomasville is at 6. Ace Charter is at 7. Lamar County, Jasper County, Putnam County. That is your Class A D1 on the boys' side at 8, 9, and 10. And then Class A Division II, GMC Atco is number 2 at 13-2. We'll try and catch up with our friends at Atkinson County in a little bit. Metter at 13-1 at number 3. Lake Oconee Academy at number 4. Dooley County is at number 5. Towns is at 6. Tryon at 7. Lincoln County is at number 8 with a record of 9-3. Atlanta Classical Academy is at number 9, and Brooks County is at number 10. So that's your boys' rankings, courtesy of our friends at Scoreboard. And there's a lot of intriguing stories that are going to be tracked down by us here in the next little bit. So girls' side, all classifications on the girls' side. Roswell, Brookwood, Buford, West Forsyth is at number 4. BT, Harrison, Pope, GAC, Walton, and Lambert. That's your all classification top 10. And going into 6A on the girls' side, Brookwood, Buford, West Forsyth, 1, 2, and 3. Anticipating a deep run for all of those. Harrison's at number 4. Got to catch up with them earlier this year. Walton, we've seen them a couple of times on the network. We saw Lambert earlier this year. We've seen Brookwood this year on the network. Hillgrove is at number 7. North Gwinnett's at number 8. Campbell and Denmark are number 9 and number 10 in Class 6A. In 5A, it's Roswell, Pope, Northgate, Lassiter. McIntosh is number 5 at 11-4, 6-1 in region. Lakeside DeKalb is at Lakeside High is at number 6 at 12-1. Johns Creek Girls at number 7. Hab Central at number 8. Alexander is at number 9, and Riverwood right now is at number 10 in 5A. In Quad A, Blessed Trinity's on top. Cambridge is your number 2. North Oconee is your number 3. Marist is at number 4. We've had the chance to see North Oconee this year with the trip that they took to Eastside. Marist is 4. Saw them last week against St. Pius. Alatoona, Pace, Pius, once again, seeing them against Marist. Midtown saw them earlier this year when they were missing some players and had to deal with some injuries. Stars Mills at number 9. Northside Columbus is at number 10. And so that, in turn, now takes us to the AAA split poll on the private side. GAC Lovett Holy Innocents 1, 2, and 3. Wesleyan, Hebron Christians at number 5. Savannah Country Days at number 6. Fellowship Christian is at number 7. St. Vincent's is at number 8. Whitfield is at number 9. Providence Christian is at number 10. So the AAA girls poll public side, Jefferson, we've seen them, caught up with Coach Molly McCarty here on In Session. Sandy Creek is number 2. Whitewater's at number 3. Oconee County is at number 4. Cherokee Bluff is 5. ARC, once again, boys and girls, same head coach, is at number 6. Dawson, Lumpkin, Adairsville, and Harlem. That is the remainder of your top 10 in the scoreboard in AAA. Girls side AA, Pike County, Columbus, Sonoraville, Morgan County, Coahulla Creek, Callaway, East Jackson, Stevens County, Savannah Arts, and Pierce. That's your top 10 in the girls' side in AA. Class A Division I, Week 8 rankings. Bremen's at number 1. Models at number 2. Social Circle called the matches with Social Circle against Putnam County. We've seen, if I could get my verb tense right, we've seen Social Circle a couple of times. They're at number 3. Ace Charters at number 4. Thomasville's at number 5. Jeff Davis, once again, we've seen them. We saw them take on Appling County. They're at number 6. East Lawrence is at 7. Lamar County is at 8. Worth County is at 9. Dodge County is at number 10 in Class A Division I girls. Class A Division II girls, Screven County. We've reached out to the folks in Sylvania. We'll see if we can catch up with them. Right now, they're at number 1. Lake Oconee Academy is at number 2. Portal is at number 3 at 11-3. Then it's Tryon, Atlanta Classical, Towns County. We'll see if we can catch up with Towns in a little bit. Dooley County is at number 7. GMC Prep is at number 8. Elite Scholars is at number 9. And Crawford County, story out of Roberta, 9-5, 7-1 in region play. And that's another interesting story with Crawford County right now being number 10, Class A Division II. They've only given up 6 goals in 8 matches in region play, challenging themselves out of region, going up against folks like Dooley County, like Chatco, and Rutland and Jones. And then you go from there, and they have won 6 of their last 7 and 7 of their last 9 to get to where they are right now. Next up for them is a matchup at Central Macon. That is on Thursday the 10th in 2 days' time. So they've had spring break, and they'll be jumping back into play coming up in just a little bit for Crawford County. But some interesting names in the rankings across the board for all of the activity that we've seen so far this season. So it's been interesting to see all of the newer players, the newer blood that's been attached. And so we will see you, and we'll be keeping an eye on everything there. So let me ask this. If there is a particular school that is out there that you guys want to have tracked down, that you want to find out more about, let me know. And you can shoot us. You can follow us on social media at Soccer Down Here. And you can let us know either on Instagram or on the 200 Indie Character app, or on our Facebook page, or on Blue Sky. We're there as well. Last night, as a matter of fact, we were in Coahulla Creek for the first time at the home of the Colts. And it was an interesting trip for us to get to go up there and see what's going on at Coahulla Creek, and it was a really cool run for us to be able to see what's been going on in a building program there at Coahulla Creek. They played Fort Payne, Alabama, and it was one of those where Fort Payne is one of those teams in spring break where they were looking for an opponent on the girls' side, and the girls there were at the same point for Coahulla Creek. Let's try and find an opponent, and they were shorthanded. Coahulla Creek was, and they had only 2 players on the bench. And so it was for Shannon Coley, it was a bit of a challenge, but coming out in the 4-2-3-1, they frustrated Fort Payne for most of the match. And it wasn't until about 6.5 minutes left in the match where Fort Payne finally broke through. And it was a big win for Fort Payne in a matchup on the road. And I have to figure out how much of a road trip is Fort Payne from Dalton, because I was trying to figure out where it is, but yeah, Fort Payne to Dalton, and it'll be really interesting to see how it looks, and it will be really cool to see these. It was it was our first ever crossover matchup, by the way. So, and it was really interesting to see how it was going to look on a matchup like this. And so it was, when you're in a bye week, and so it was really interesting to see how it was going to come across. And it was like I said, it was a challenging day for Shannon Coley, the head coach at Coahulla Creek. We had a freshman keeper, and there's a lot of promise there at Coahulla Creek on the girls' side. You were missing your second leading scorer. Top leading scorers both had 9 goals on the season, but you were without 5 players. So your bench of 7 was a bench of 2. And it was, once again, it was a challenge for Coahulla Creek, but they ended up making sure that it was a big challenge for them, and they ended up just on the losing end of the stick by the score of 1-0. All right, now it's time. We're in a no dilly, no dally zone. Speaking of Druid Hills, we're going to catch up with our buddy Kai Uchimura, the head coach of Druid Hills on the girls' side. Kai, what up? You made it.
Hey, thank you for having me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good, dude.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for having me on the show.
Now, I know that you are like trying to catch water through an open hand sometimes and trying to be a guest on the show, and I'm glad we were able to track you down here. When you look at what you've been able to accomplish so far this season there at Druid Hills, how would you rate expectations coming in and where you are right now? How would you rate the gap to where we are getting toward the end of the regular season?
Yeah, so entering into this season, I knew heading in that this was going to be the toughest region that we've had to compete in since I've been the head coach since 2018. So with the region realignments, we have mathematically qualified for the state tournament. That was like the bare minimum expectation to qualify for state. We still have one more region match left when we get back from spring break, because we're on spring break now this week. We play St. Pius, which, they're traditionally a tough opponent. So we go to St. Pius on Wednesday the 16th. So we have to just work hard and just execute, and we can pull out a good result. And right now the region title is out of our hands right now based on our record, but we can still finish in the 2 seed if we can pull out a victory, and if all other region tiebreakers, all the math works for us. But yeah, I mean, we're pretty much kind of where I think we would be. We had a kind of a tough loss in penalties against Northview about a few weeks ago, and respect to Northview, Marist, St. Pius, they're all good region opponents, and for our region. And it's been and with our Region 5 Class 4A with 10 teams in there, it was definitely brutal to get through. So, but yeah.
No doubt about it. 6-2 right now in region, and it is one of the more chaotic regions around because, as you mentioned, Marist, Pius, Northview, Druid Hills, Clarkston, and then it's also North Springs, Tucker, Cross Key, Southwest DeKalb, and Lithonia. So it's a bunch of heavyweights, and you really can't flinch because you have Marist that has 11 wins. Pius has 10 wins at 10-6. Northview has basically played a very scant non-region schedule. They're 7-6, 7-2 in region, and then you're 10-4 and 6-2. When you look at this region being what it is, how would you break down what DeKalb County soccer has evolved into in the time that you have been the head coach there at Druid Hills?
I think overall the county, it's the competition's getting a lot better. I think with the growth of different organizations and outreach in community, whether it's soccer in the streets, whether it's other local clubs like Inner Atlanta or Concord, more players are playing and it's especially on the girls side too. Like I mean, Clarkston's grown as a program. There's other schools. Tucker has grown. It's I mean, we've exchanged wins lost with them in the previous seasons. So yeah, I mean, DeKalb County is a hotbed for soccer. And just real quick on for this region for girls and boys, like it's easily the toughest region in 4A. I will put probably outside of the only other region that might compete with that is probably the Westminster region right next door, and then maybe the Norfolk County region. But with 10 teams, and especially, I mean, I gotta say on the boys' side, that is an easily a seven teams were in my view playoff worthy, and it's a shame that only 4 can go. But that's just how it is.
Yep. Right now, we were going over the rankings before you popped in this afternoon. Marist right now at number 4, and Pius is at number 7. So you're battling with 2 top 10 teams, and then you have a team in Northview that you're trying to challenge up against. It is when it comes to the sport in general, just outside of DeKalb County. I know that as someone who has seen the sport grow, it's been really cool to have all of these non-traditional, and yes, I did just use air quotes for those that are listening, and it's also $1 in the jar when I do it, non-traditional schools that are coming together and they're putting together quality soccer programs. And it's like I said, it's not just in DeKalb County. When you look at scheduling and you have a region with 2 top 10 teams in it that you're trying to battle in uphill, how easy is it for you with the history that you've built there and the history that Druid Hills has as a soccer program? How difficult is it to schedule non-region games to fill out your schedule, or do folks want to play hyper-competitive matchups? How is scheduling for you?
So scheduling is it's definitely difficult, or it's scheduling in itself is difficult because we try to, I mean, most coaches try to plan things out a year in advance. And so right now, like the past couple weeks, I mean, I've been trying to schedule games or especially non-region games like a year in advance for 2026. Just quick shout out to Coach Engsberg over at Marist. He's helped with like kind of our own region scheduling for next year. So we already got that down pat, but we're trying to fill out, at least for me, still kind of get a couple more non-region games in there. And I think, the murmur is that next season, GHSA is going to do that power ranking system for classes 4 through 6A, because right now it's the private school and 1 through 3 are doing it. And so it makes it even more of a kind of a motivation to get some tougher quality teams to play against. So that helps with the power rankings. And it can be a challenge for sure, because you got to still communicate with other coaches, see what their schedules is like, and it's not easy to do.
Well, and so would you rather it be the old school 1 through 4 and you're in, or do you want to go power rankings? How would you navigate this?
Well, that's a good question. with anything, there's pros and cons.
Yeah.
Because part of, yeah, it's tough. Me personally, I would have liked. It's tough because I get it. The
You're trying to figure this one out, aren't
yeah,
you?
I'm trying to figure this one out because it's because what I kind of understand, I could be a little wrong with this one, but the private schools are kind of in their own classification. But then if you go from 4 to 6, I was just looking at this the other day that it most private schools in Georgia aren't like terribly big as far as student population. So there's a lot more of these smaller private school teams that are like less than, let's say, 600 students, because the only ones that really come to mind that are private schools that are from 4A to 6A are like teams like Woodward or Westminster, Blessed Trinity. But there's not really, I don't know if there's like 20 private schools that are from 4A to 6A. So making a tournament out of that's interesting. And then yeah, the whole power ranking. It's interesting because yeah, like I said, in certain regions, there's easily in our region for 10 teams, easily there's 5 or 6 that I would subscribe as they have the talent capabilities to be good playoff teams. So it's just interesting that some regions have 10 high schools or 10 schools in it, and then other regions only have 5. So
Yeah.
I get it that geography plays a factor in this, but yeah, I don't know if that really answered the question, but
No, I mean it's got it. It's got its pros and cons, and you got to figure out where you are, because I know that as far back as it is for me, back in the days of black and white television when I started, back in like the 1940s when I was a high school student myself, it was it's always been the 4 teams, and you're fighting for that 4th region spot, and you're trying to get in, and you make your noise as a 4 seed and do whatever you're doing. And then there are instances where you have that 4 seed, and that 4 seed in that region, for whatever reason, might have had a difficult schedule, might be below 500. People are sitting there going, okay, well, I don't know if they deserve it. But then they come in, they might be below 500, and then they'll come in like gangbusters, but it's because of who they scheduled that made their hay. So no, I completely understand the idea of, okay, maybe, yes, I don't know, but you're open for these kinds of ideas coming across the board, especially as they're trying to
Yep.
navigate them down there in Thomaston. Time to brag on your team a little bit with what you've been able to do both offensively and defensively. 66 goals scored in 14 matches. That's an average of, I think, 5.5 or something like that. For someone who has never seen you play and is gearing up for these 2 matchups that you have left, either at Pius or at Heritage, coming up next week after spring break, who have been some of the stars for you this season that folks will gravitate toward when they watch you for the first time?
Well, it's a very well-balanced team. Like, we have built up a good bit of chemistry. Most of my team are juniors that's been together now for three years. Only I have 2 seniors, so it's there's not really one player that I can say like definitively that's, oh yeah, like it's we're a very well-balanced team. We have plethora of different goal scorers. It's not like we rely on just one person to get all of our goals. And just it's we're very well balanced. Like we have Emily Meyer, who scored goals. Grace Blanchard has scored goals. Asa Copeland has scored goals. Emlyn Cooper, Izzy Ziglis in our midfield has been working together as a good unit. Alyssa Stepp has played solidly, and she's our senior captain going to Clayton State to play. Our back line's been a solid unit with Addison Greasewood, Nia Greer, Julia Blanchard sticking it together, Peyton Borner being solid, and then Blythe Fisher keeping us in a lot of matches and making good saves. So, a good, well-balanced team. It's it's hard to just choose one.
Oh, no doubt. That's why you ran down the roster and you were bragging. That's all I was hunting for. It's just like, tell me who folks can chase after. And you mentioned your defense. So let's talk about the defense a little bit, averaging a little over a goal against per match. Obviously, you mentioned what's going on between the sticks, but who have been the stalwarts there for you defensively to make sure that you've got a higher number on the left-hand side of the dash by the time the match is done?
Yeah, no, defensively, I mean, shout out to them all. Like, even like, they've all contributed. There's plenty of instances where, our back line has bailed us out. Like Peyton Borner has done very well out on the outside back role. Very athletic. And then looking at the back line, we've Julia Blanchard, Nia Greer has been a solid center back pairing. Ori Weidman has filled in various different roles throughout the season in the back and in a midfield. So it's chemistry is there. Addison Greasewood has been a solid outside back. And they're very composed. They get along, and the communication is good. And then Blythe Fisher in goal, like she's made a lot of good saves. I mean, I think it's well balanced, and they're all outside of Nia Greer, our outside back. Oh, sorry, our defenders have been our all juniors. Nia Greer is a senior, so again, they've had 3 years to be together and know each other. So I think our chemistry and familiarity has helped a lot.
No doubt about it. And when it comes to your roster currently, when it comes to either seniors or who are going to the next level or juniors who are being looked at right now, who is going to the next level and who's getting looks right now?
So playing. So I mentioned earlier, Alyssa Stepp. She's one of our 2 seniors, along with Nia Greer. Alyssa has committed to Clayton State University D2 school in Georgia. Nia Greer, I think she has capabilities, of course, to play college soccer, but she has told me that she doesn't really want to play college soccer, which is totally okay. She's going to Kennesaw State to I think study Kennesaw, or I think or I forgot what she was going to major try to study in. But anyway, point being is that she's going to do well in school. And then looking at our junior class, that is the bulk of my roster. So after 2026, it is going to look completely different. But there's a few of our players that have been going to these different college ID camps that I would say vast majority of our juniors, any college coaches out there, take a look at Druid Hills, because we have plenty of players that I think can go on to the next level. Mentioned it earlier, Emily Meyer, Grace Blanchard, Emlyn Cooper, Peyton Borner, Addison Greasewood, Julia Blanchard, Blythe Fisher. They have been getting the Nia Cadet. They've been, this junior class is solid. And I know quite a few of them play club soccer, and so they've gone to these different ID camps and these different club tournaments that college coaches have been assume going to. So they need to take a look at Druid Hills. There's talent over here.
I was going to say, because we have when I do the high school football over at Georgia Public Broadcasting, we have a segment where we call "Make That Kid an Offer."
Mm-hmm.
And it is for a student athlete, for whatever reason, they're either not being looked at all for some reason, or when the looks that they're getting should be higher level looks. Like if someone is getting a look at Division II, they really should be getting a look for FCS. If they're FCS getting looks, they really should be Division I. Who in your mind, and I think I know where this answer is going to go when you give it to me, who in your mind would fit the Make That Kid an Offer category for you there at Druid Hills, with that group of juniors that right now is going to be rising seniors at the end of the year? I think I know what you're going to say, but go ahead.
It's a good, tough question. Well, conventionally, our offensive players, it's, again, we're very, very well balanced. Like Emily Meyer and Grace Blanchard are 2 leading goal scorers. Emlyn Cooper is a great facilitator. One of our other midfielder, Izzy Ziglis, who's a sophomore, so she has a couple more seasons left. I think college coaches are definitely gonna should keep an eye out for her. Very, very tough, but I'd say my answer to this, it might sound a little unconventional, but I think there are some college coaches should take a look at Peyton Borner, or Julia Blanchard. Those two players in our back, especially with Peyton. Like I've known her since her 8th grade year. She, growing up, I don't think she played a whole lot of soccer. Like I don't think it was till middle school till she, kicked the ball, and I don't think she doesn't play club soccer anywhere, but she's very athletic. She's in our ROTC program at high school, and so with her athleticism, like her skill set in a lot of ways can, I guess, be described in certain ways raw, but there is so much potential in Peyton to be she's a outstanding defender for us. With her speed, she might not be the most technical player that we have. She's not going to be on the stats sheet, but her physicality for us, and just helping us be a stronger unit. I think college coaches, especially, I would say, just the realist in me. I mean, some D3 schools or NAIA schools, I think they should take a look at Peyton. And for all my other juniors, they've already, like I said, have gone to these different college IB camps in the past. But for someone that does not play club soccer, I think Peyton Borner has kind of flown under the radar in certain ways. So I think some college coaches should look at her.
Kai Uchimura, head coach of the Druid Hills girls program. Once again, Kai, thanks for dropping by, being a part of Soccer's in Session. And we'll be keeping an eye on you. Thanks for being a great host earlier this season and letting us know about everything going on there in DeKalb County Soccer. Thanks for being a part of the show, my friend. I really appreciate it. See you anytime.
Thank you, John. Thank you for having me on the show.
There we go. Kai Uchimura, head coach of the Druid Hills girls program. And like I said, we had the Druid Hills Clarkston matchup earlier this season for them. And, Kai mentions the point that they are in a very, very tough region. We mentioned Marist and Pius at the top of that region. Right now, two of the top 10 teams in Quad A on the girls' side. And then you have Northview, who only played 4 non-region matchups, and they're 7-2 in region in that 10-team region where you're playing 9 matchups. And so right now, as things stand, they're done. You have some teams, I think Northview is done in region standing. So Region 5 Quad A, you've got just a handful of teams with a handful of matchups left. So in the barn, Lithonia's in the barn, Southwest DeKalb is in the barn, Cross Keys is in the barn, Tucker's got one more, North Springs has one more, Clarkston is done. So right now in the current setup, Druid Hills has a match to go. They win, they go to 7-2, and then you get into tiebreakers and things like that. Pius 7-1, and remember the Pius Marist matchups that we had last week determined right now that Marist is region champ. They've only given up 9 goals this season in 14 matches, and 84 goals scored, 9 against, with a 2-match win streak for Marist. So Marist right now is the number 1 seed out of Region 5 Quad A. Pius right now is at number 2. Northview's at number 3. Druid Hills is number 4. And so you have right now, those are your 4 coming out of Region 5 Quad A. It's just going to determine who's got what where with these last region matchups that are attached to Druid Hills, as they're right now the 4, and they're trying to work their way up the ladder. So as things go, once again, that matchup with Pius is going to be big on the 16th, because if you have Druid Hills win that one at St. Pius at 5:30, Pius then is now dragged into a 3-way tie with all of these, with the other 2 teams that are there. So it would be Pius, Northview, who is done, and Druid Hills. So Druid Hills needs to win, and then you get into the tiebreakers where they lost to Northview. So they would be losing to Northview in the tiebreaker there. So they would be finishing below Northview in the standings. But if they were to beat Pius, then they would have that tiebreaker on St. Pius, and there's going to be a test on this later on. So right now, here's how it is, if my math is correct, in 5 quad. If Druid Hills right now is the 4. Druid Hills right now is the 4 seed with a match to go. If Druid Hills beats Pius, then they would be the 3 because Pius would lose the tiebreaker to Druid Hills. And now we have to look at Northview. So all of this is contingent because they lost to Northview, and they right now would be behind they would be behind in the tiebreakers, losing to Northview. But if you end up with Northview, let's see what Northview has done against St. Pius. That's probably the larger question. So they lost to Pius. So Northview loses to Pius. Then you would have the head-to-head involving the Pius Druid Hills matchup in this 3-way dance, possibly with 3 teams at 7-2, if Druid Hills wins next week. So that's what you're staring at. Druid Hills wins, then they would be the 3. St. Pius would be, wow, this is a tiebreaker. Okay, so I was trying to sit here and go, okay, what's the tiebreaker situation? They'd all be at various 1s and 1s. And so it's probably going to end up being something like goal difference in the matchups themselves. So that's what you're looking at possibly to determine the 2, the 3, and the 4. Lost to Northview was 2-1 for Druid Hills, and then you'd have the matchup against Pius. But this is all contingent upon a Druid Hills win at St. Pius. So a Druid Hills win at St. Pius would mean it's a 3-way dance at 1-1. And then you get into the head-to-heads and things like that, and then goal difference. But the key here is the matchup at St. Pius. Pius wins, they're the 2 seed. Northview's the 3. St. Pius, and then Druid Hills is the 4. So it would be Marist, Pius, Northview, Druid Hills. Marist, Pius, Northview, Druid Hills. That would be the 4 if St. Pius wins at home a week from tomorrow. Then you would end up with that, the 2, the 3, and the 4. If Druid Hills wins, Druid Hills goes to 1-1, losing to Northview, beating St. Pius. Then St. Pius, in their matchups, once again, in their schedule, St. Pius beat Northview, but then would have lost to Druid Hills, so they would be 1-1. And so everyone's at 1-1. My guess is you're going to have to go to goal difference to figure something out. So I don't know the tiebreaker, but the key is, once again, to make sure, if you are a fan of Druid Hills, that you are rooting for the win at St. Pius and going to the match at St. Pius just to make sure a week from tomorrow that everything is all copacetic and hunky-dory when it comes to everything going on in that particular region. And that's just part of the equation. Part of the equation is right there with that particular matchup. So now that's what you're staring at there. All right, so let's get into the schedule here in the final 15 minutes of the show. And I'm thinking that we might have to have Aaron Paul on the show next week, because if I had a misplaced modifier in an email, I think he is, and that's going to be on me. So we'll try and have Aaron Paul on the show next week to discuss everything right there at the last week of the regular season. So let's get into the schedule for today and break it all down and let you know where things are here in the midweek. And once again, this is a midweek spring break week period. So that's where we are with everything. 52 matches today, so it's not too bad, because there were 4 matches yesterday in the state of Georgia, and we were at one of them on the girls' side. 52 matches today. Lanier County and Monroe of Albany chasing after seeding in their particular region. That one starts at 3:30. Woodward and Lovett, that's at 4:15. Towns County and Trutland, Towns County trying to get another win in their season. They're already in double-digit wins. That one's at 5. North Forsyth and Creekview, keep that one in mind at 5:30. Pace and Westminster, 2 teams at 11-3. They're at 6. Lambert going up against Woodstock at 6:30, chasing after win number 11. Osborne is taking on Fairhope of Alabama. That one's at 5:30. New Hampstead and Benedictine in region play. That one is at 7 o'clock. Warner Robins and Tift in region 1, 5A, 4A, 7 o'clock. Camden and Lowndes in region 1, 6A. That one is at 7. Cook and Atco. Keep an eye on that one. Atco is at 13-2. That one's going to be played in Pearson at 7 o'clock. MCA and Bryan County. Peach County and Northside. Peach County's already at double-digit wins this season. Toombs is taking on Vidalia in Vidalia at Buck Cravey. That one is at 7 o'clock. Savannah Arts in South Effingham, John Millage in Stratford, Whitfield and AIS. Claiborne County, Haralson County is at 7 o'clock. Veterans in Perry, 2 teams, double-digit wins both. And that one's going to be at Perry. That one's at 7 o'clock. Murray County and Ridgeland up in the mountains. Calhoun and Islands. That's an interesting matchup on the coast. 8-7 and 11-4. Athens Christian hosting Monsignor Donovan on a road trip during spring break. Savannah Christian, Swainsboro, Valwood, and CFCA. Westover and Deerfield, Windsor, Mount Pisgah and the Weber School. Valdosta and Berrien in a non-region matchup. South Forsyth and Wesleyan, once again, you've got that one today. You have Central, Macon, and Ace Charter, West Side and Rutland, LFO and Fannin County, Franklin County and Seneca of South Carolina, Montgomery County, Dooley County, FPD and Lamar, Ringgold and Heritage, Manchester, Macon County, Dawson County, and East Forsyth, Northeast and Tatnall, Forsyth Central and Etowah. You have Elbert and Stevens, LaGrange and Harris, Dalton and Northwest Whitfield. Dalton at 13-0. Northwest Whitfield is 11-1. That one is at 7:30. Cairo, Doherty, North Murray and Pickens, Fitzgerald and Colquitt. That's a great non-region matchup there. Richmond Hill and Savannah Country Day, 2 teams at 8 o'clock north of double-digit wins. Shaw and Jordan, we mentioned West Forsyth and River Ridge on the boys' side. River Ridge at 12-0. They're going to have senior night at 8 o'clock. Cherokee, Southeast Whitfield, and Columbus and Spencer. Those are your matchups on the boys' side. 52 matches today. And on the girls' side, once again, West Forsyth ranked number 2 nationally. Roswell ranked number 4 nationally. Brookwood and Lambert also in the top 10 nationally for girls soccer here in the state of Georgia. Only 30 matches on the girls' side today. It is Murray County and Ridgeland, 5 o'clock start. Athens Christian has the front end of the doubleheader at 5 o'clock as well. Whitfield and AIS is at 5. Stratford, John Millage, Mount Pisgah and Weber, Carolina Day and Rabun Gap-Nakuchi. Remember, we've told you the story about Rabun Gap-Nakuchi before, where they have because of geography, they have a waiver to play in the North Carolina Interscholastic Sports Association. So they're playing in the NC SCISA, and they get Carolina Day at 5 o'clock in Dillard. Pinecrest and Pacelli, 2 teams north of double-digit wins. LFO and Fannin County. Elbert and Stevens at 5:30, as is Franklin and Seneca, FPD and Lamar, South Forsyth and Wesleyan. It is Claiborne and Haralson, 5:30 Eastern Time in Buchanan. Dawson County, East Forsyth, LaGrange and Harris. West Forsyth and River Ridge, West Forsyth at 12-1. River Ridge at 5-7 on the girls' side. That one's at 5:30. North Murray and Pickens. That one's also at 5:30. Forsyth Central and Etowah. Cherokee and Southeast Whitfield. Woodward Academy, Lovett is at 6. Hayesville, North Carolina is taking on Swain once again because that drifts into this ADI that we have. Swain County's at 6 o'clock at 9-1. Denmark and North Forsyth. It is White Plains and Lincoln, Creekview, North Forsyth, Sequoia and Lambert. Lambert 12-1. That one's at 7:45. They had the matchup flipped for the girls' side because of Lambert's girls being 12-1 there as well. So that's your rundown of all of the action, all of the standings, all of the things that are going on here with Soccer is in Session, presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. Once again, quick reminder that tonight, 5:30 and 8, it is West Forsyth at River Ridge. Girls at 5:30, boys at 8, senior day in between. Drew Dickinson will have the call for you in that matchup and it will be nationally ranked teams on display in both matchups. River Ridge's boys, West Forsyth's girls. West Forsyth, once again, ranked number 2 in the country in the girls' side, according to our friends at Max Preps. Top of the poll on the girls' side, once again, courtesy of our friends at Scoreboard. So, challenges for both of these teams in this matchup on Senior Day. 21 seniors are going to be celebrated at River Ridge, and we will have the matchups for you at 5:30 and 8. Soccerdownhere.mixler.com. And then what you can do there is get your notifications, download the Mixler app, set up your account, and then what you end up doing is you can get an email notification to sit there and say, oh, something's live on SDH. And so that way SDH is live and you know about it, newsletter form, and it's all good to go in that regard. So you'll have that ready for you. Once again, 5:30 and 8, West Forsyth and River Ridge. That one is tonight. We are efforting a matchup on Friday. We'll let you know when we can let you know what that matchup is on Friday. And we do have a match. We do have a match day circled, and so we're trying to track down that particular match day and see if we can give it to you here on Friday Night Football on the SDH Network, presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. Yesterday, once again, it was great to be at Coahulla Creek to see Coahulla Creek and Fort Payne, and first time ever that we were there for a matchup at Coahulla Creek, and to see those programs continue to grow on the boys and girls sides. It was great to see that yesterday as well, up there in suburban Dalton in Whitfield County. So that was a fun match as well. So the layout, once again, tomorrow on the SDH Network. SDH AM is going to have Jason hosting SDH AM. Tyler Pilgrim from Scarves and Spikes will be there. Dylan Butler will be there as well to talk everything Major League Soccer. Then it'll be on Thursday. It will be Atlanta United 2 in Philadelphia to take on Philadelphia Union 2. We'll have that one for you in Chester, 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock kick here on the SDH Network. And then Thursday, once again, with the twos. Friday with the matchup that we have for Friday Night Football, presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. And we couldn't do it without them, couldn't do it without you. And so it's going to be another fun week. And then next week, we start it all over again. It's going to be Atlanta United taking on the Revs on the 12th. They get the early game, 2:30 in the afternoon. Then Monday, we've got a match planned. Tuesday, we've got a match planned. Thursday, we've got a big match planned. And then looks like Friday, we're going to have multiple places. So keep SDH 1 and 2 in your minds as we go here every single time out. So that is another go-round of Soccer's in Session, presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. And we'll be back once again, SDH AM, 9:05 tomorrow morning, thanks to Kai Uchimura, to break down everything at Druid Hills High School. Here, once again, is my request for you. If you have a favorite soccer program, boys or girls, and the reason I asked Coach Uchimura this is, well, I'm going to ask you the same thing. If you have a favorite boys or girls program, and there is a student athlete that is stellar on the field and off, extracurriculars on the field, lighting it up, doing well defensively, great between the sticks, what have you, and they are not getting the looks you think they should be getting, if you're a coach, if you are, if you're a mom or a teammate, let us know. Let us know who's not getting the looks. Who needs to make that kid an offers when it comes to high school here in the state of Georgia, attached to your favorite programs? Let us know. Send us all the deets, and then that way we can let everybody know what's going on with all of the great talent here in the state of Georgia. Number 3 for talent in American football. No reason to think that it couldn't be right up there with the football version of football, and keeping an eye on all of that stuff. So let us know who your talents are around the state that might not be getting the looks you think they deserve for whatever reason. They're too whatever, too small, too slow. Yes, I'm doing all of these in quotes. For too whatever that aren't getting the looks you think they deserve. Let us know on all of our social media platforms here at SDH, and we will continue to endeavor all of that and continue to promote and let everybody know what makes Georgia high school soccer so special here on the network. So for everybody here at SDH, for Jason, for Maddie, for Drew, who's going to be at River Ridge tonight, if you're there, say hi to Drew. Drew Dickinson will have the call for you, 5:30 and 8 on the network at soccerdownhere.mixler.com. Say hi to Drew. Say hi to Maddie. Say hi to Jason. Say hi to Jarrett. Say hi to Nick. And when you see me, say hi to me too. We'll say hi and we'll have conversations about really cool stuff going on with soccer here in the state of Georgia. It's another go-round of Soccer's in Session presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. Thanks for dropping by. Play safe, everybody. We will see you next time. It's the end of the show. It means I get to do this.